each of those steps involves many round trips to the models. So here's just a quick screenshot tour. This is an actual site for an unrelated project. It's got this code playground with samples in a few different languages. And maybe my task is I want to add a new language to this playground, which isn't rocket science. But a lot of software development tasks are like this, right? It's this level of complexity. So I create a GitHub issue, right? I describe what I want, and I've been super helpful to the AI by being really specific and clear about what success looks like. Like, normally at this point, my job as an engineer is to start figuring out how it works today in the code base. Where are the code samples? How are they loaded into the playground? How do I make syntax highlighting work for a new language, right? Instead, I just click on this Open in Workspace button, and Copilot generates a spec for me, right? This is a pretty boring spec because the task is simple, but it does a pretty good job of saying how it works currently and how it will work in the future. And it hasn't written any code yet, but it's already looked at my code base and identified where it might need to make changes. And that's already got incredible value to me as a developer because most of the work of writing code is not writing code. It's figuring out where things are and how they work. And when we ask it to generate a plan, it gets right down to business. It plans to touch these 3 files, and it defines exactly what it's going to do in each. And like before, I can add or edit or delete things as I see fit. And the most boring screenshot in this is the end result. It generates code. And that code is an editor. You can jump in, immediately type it, and edit it. And if you're not happy with the result, you can go back and edit the bullet points, and it'll just regenerate. But I think the most interesting thing about this process is how it prepares the human operator for reviewing the code. By the time the human is reading the diff, they have some clear expectations of what they're going to see. It doesn't feel like a robot gave me a huge homework assignment to review this massive PR. I have a lot more confidence that it's going to be worth my time to read. And more importantly, we're starting to attack the actual place where developers spend their time. So far, the industry has been focused on this parlor trick of generating lines of code. But when you look at the research on where developers spend their time, it's not on typing. It's on sense-making. It's on orientation. It's how does it work? Where is the work happening? Where do I need to make these changes? And frequently, things that are daunting are not daunting because we have to type a lot of code. It's daunting because it's not clear where to start. It's not clear what to touch. So the future of tools that help developers is about that first category. It's less about being a second pair of hands and more about being their second brain. And this is just the beginning. Copilot Workspace isn't perfect, but we're not asking the model to guess what we want, and we're not having a theoretical discussion either. If we're looking to break through this suggestion ceiling, there's this Goldilocks pattern in the middle, and we're going to see a lot more things that sort of fit into this Goldilocks pattern.